It's on?
It's on.
Okay, fantastic. Let's get it on. She's alive.
Now, my ducklings. She is alive. This song, this was a bit of a journey, I have to say, because I originally made a demo for this song and it was like completely different. And then I brought it to the band and we completely changed it. And I was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. And then, well, what the song was actually kind of, what triggered the song, let's say, was a friend having a kind of experience of sexual assault. And it sort of, where it came from was like a lot of people who have past experiences of sexual abuse or trauma or these things. They often encounter that, they keep encountering that in their life because of, yeah, there's boundary issues there, and it takes a long time and a lot of work to rebuild those boundaries and to understand what's going on, you know. And it was really painful for me to hear this from this friend. And so I wrote this song came from a place of like, towards the guy, like, why do you target someone when you can feel that they have this pain? Like, why are you targeting someone who's kind of already been made a victim? Why do you have this predatory energy in you, you know? And this kind of anger towards the perpetrator, towards him, towards the sexual assaulters. And, you know, consent is a very complex topic. It's very nuanced, and I also know that if we look at like on the personal scale, it's not as simple as perpetrator and victim, because our sexual education is just like terrible. So the way that we come into sex as young people is so problematic. And some people are okay because they have a connection with someone where there's trust and it's all good. But, you know, if you come into it around drugs and alcohol, or you come into it already from a place of like, you know, like a lot of kids have not had like the most stable upbringings, and then you sort of bring that into sex, and both people on both sides of that are bringing in fear of intimacy, of something new. And then there's different levels to sexual violence, and people carry different burdens with them through their life. I think a lot of people who have experienced sexual trauma are very afraid to show themselves and are very afraid of their own light, because also our own shine, you know, is quite a sexual thing also, because creative energy, sexual energy are very it's kind of the same energy. So when you allow yourself to be seen, to take up space, it's coming from a kind of, it's not necessarily a sexual thing, but it's coming from that kind of source of energy. And so a lot of people who have sexual trauma, this is a big struggle. And what it also means is that there's difficulty in valuing themselves and putting boundaries, because those boundaries have been, you know, so messed up, and they learn to not trust themselves, and they learn to blame themselves. And that process of undoing, it's so deeply ingrained, the process of like unpicking all of that and undoing all of that to get to the point where you can have healthy relationships is like, it's years, you know, it's years and a lot of therapy, hopefully. So that's kind of where this song came from. It was triggered by this one experience, and then I was just so mad. I was like, why do these guys smell it? Why do they smell the vulnerability, and why do they go in for it? And then again, it's like a woman adds another, and it's not just women, but like for me, like most of my, I just have countless female friends who have experiences of sexual violence, like or sexual trauma, including myself, and it just seems to be like, you know, a part of it's like a bit of a stamp or something of. I know that there's plenty of people that don't have that, but I know many who do. Why are you going for us? You know, like, why are you smelling it and you know, picking up on that. So it started off as like this kind of anger and why are you doing this? And it was quite sad also. It was about the sadness of that experience. And then I had a reflection that actually I wanted to transform that into something that was empowering, which was also my own process. Was like, I have this anger, this rage about this experience, this deep sadness also, but I want to transform that into something for myself. And so then the chorus, I was like, okay, instead of this being something which is like sad and dark, I want to make this something which is like bright and about knowing your own power, because I want to get into this state where I'm, you know, and now that's actually what this song is. Every time like I sing this chorus, every time we play this, I'm like, I have that experience, you know, the lyrics, I know the shine of my light, and no one can keep it from sight, and it's dangerous because it's so bright. My power is ancient, yes, she is alive. I know the light of my soul, it's shining beyond my control. The spirit that Debbie, she helps me to know, no, the spirit, she helps me to know my body, my choice, and the strength of my voice. Even just saying it now, I'm like, that feels so powerful, because I'm no longer giving my agency away to someone else. I'm saying like, okay, what's happened to me has happened to me, and you know, there's people involved, but my own experience, I know it. But no one can take that from me. That's my birthright, you know, like the strength and the power that's within me, my own shine. Like I can let myself be seen, I can let myself be big, because I've been made small, and I don't want to do that anymore. And that's where that's how power is. That's how you make your own power small, you know. That's how you let people take your power from you. And I was like, I don't want to make this song about someone taking my power. I want it to be about like, I have my fucking power. Like, this is my power. It's right here. It's ancient. It goes back generations. It goes back in my ancestry, you know. And also like that female line of like sexual empowerment, like knowing who you are, fighting for that, standing up for yourself. And that being a spiritual thing also, like being able to lean into that space where like, this is a soul thing. This is more than just my body and who I am in this moment in this earth. This is like, this goes way back. And what happens to me in this body is something that must be experienced and processed. And it does completely influence my life, you know. But also there is a deeper layer, which is where that source of power comes from. And as that tries to come out of me, it's going to interact with all these boundaries that say, no, make yourself small because this happened to you. And that's the moment where I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to let the past define me. I'm going to open through that thing that wants to contract, because there's so much pain and shame there. But actually, I want to be a big human being. I want to be honest. I want to be real. And to do that, I have to break through all this stuff, you know, all this stuff that happens that we all have baggage, you know. There's different degrees to it, but we're all carrying stuff, and we all have stuff to work through. But ultimately, if you come from that place of empowerment, of like, I am beautiful, amazing, strong, my essence is like divine. If you come from that place and you stick with that, it can break through everything, you know. It's years, but it can. And I wanted to give that to people also, especially actually to people who've experienced sexual violence or trauma or these kinds of things. My intention was like, I want them to connect with that part of themselves, because I know it can be really hard to connect with that part. So I just wanted to create a space that was like, this song is for those people to feel their own power, you know, to facilitate a healing experience for them. So yeah, that is She Is Alive.